Will the House please come to order and members kindly take their seats? Good morning. The devotional today will be led by Representative Jim Maslin of Thetford.
Morning, Madam Speaker. Good morning, members. As we begin to dig into what I guess probably could be called some heavy lifting here, I thought I'd like to share 3 pieces of wisdom that came to me in the past from 3 different sources. The first was from Frank Smallwood. Frank Smallwood, some may remember, was a Windsor County senator, lived in Norwich, and he used to teach government at Dartmouth College, and I was fortunate to take in a few of his last classes as an audit student. Frank used to say to his government students, Americans are always hungry for the quick solution, but we implement things incrementally. Isn't that the truth? The second piece came from my freshman year. These are all old, by the way, convocation at college, where the president, then Wallace Stirling, in his last year as president, addressed convocation of us starry-eyed freshmen coming to the university to get a good education, to then go out and save the world and perhaps start on our first million. And what President Stirling said was, he addressed his entire remarks on 4 simple words. Take the long view. He might also have said, do your homework. Get to know your professors, your college classmates, the environment in which we are working. Take the long view. The last piece comes from something else from my freshman year in college. In freshman English, we were asked to read Camus' Myth of Sisyphus, which some of you may remember. Sisyphus was a poor bugger who was sentenced to push a heavy rock up a long hill, only to find when he got to the top that it couldn't balance and it would roll back down and he'd have to start the whole thing all over again. So, in point of fact, that's what we do here. We're engaged in trying to solve intractable issues against insurmountable odds. And when we get partway through our piece of legislation, we find that the ground has shifted beneath our feet. The economy has changed, demographics have changed, so much has changed that we have to start all over again, despite our very best efforts. Camus says, wait a minute. Sisyphus is a hero. He's trying something, as I said, against insurmountable odds. And in doing so, he is declaring and affirming his humanity. We here try week after week to try things against insurmountable odds. Sometimes we think we're succeeding. We get to near the finish line and something changes and we have to start all over again. So in closing, I would just like to remember these bits of wisdom. We increment things, we work for our things incrementally here. We need to take the long view, and we need to remember that Sisyphus is a hero in what he's trying to do, and so are all of you. Have a good week. Thank you.
Please rise as pages Peter Burkholder of Barnard and Salvador Doyle of Montpelier lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good job.
Members, we have 20 House bills for introduction today. With that, member from Pulteney, can you please offer us a motion to suspend rules to introduce bills by number only?
Madam Speaker, I make a motion to suspend rules in order to introduce bills by number only.
The member from Pulteney moves that we suspend our rules to introduce bills by number only. Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you have suspended rules to introduce bills by number only. Please listen to the first reading of bills by number only.
H95,
To healthcare,
H96,
to healthcare,
H97,
to judiciary,
H98,
judiciary,
H99,
to commerce and economic development,
H100,
to education,
H101,
to education,
H102,
to healthcare,
H103,
to government operations and military affairs,
H104,
to human services,
H105,
to judiciary,
H106,
to general and housing,
H107,
to judiciary,
H108,
to judiciary,
H109,
to government operations and military affairs,
H110,
to government operations and military affairs,
H111,
to transportation,
H112,
to healthcare,
H113,
to environment,
and H114.
to healthcare. Are there any announcements? Member from Burlington.
It's that time. Tomorrow night at 7:30 here in the chamber is Farmers Night. I really encourage y'all to come. We have an amazing show, but it's just an amazing opportunity to listen to the arts, to take a moment to chill out. I met my husband at Farmers Night, and we actually got married at Farmers Night last year on our anniversary. So just saying, it's a great date night. Tomorrow night, we have David Fierzai coming. He's been touring all over the state of Vermont, playing in towns on his wonderful piano. We're actually going to pull the piano that's at the end of the hall over here by the Judiciary Committee and Housing. We're going to bring it in here, and he's going to play for us tomorrow night. So come 7:30 p.m. for that. I also have another announcement. This is a pretty big one. I would say this chamber's biggest fan is with us here today. She watches every single live stream in real time every day and has since I was sworn in January of 2023. She also watches every single committee that I'm in real time every day. So if you hear somebody that sounds like Dolly Parton, it's not Dolly Parton, it's my mom, June Peppers. She came all the way from Alabama to see the State House in person and to meet all of you. She joins us in the gallery.
Will
So-
the guests of the member from Burlington please rise and be recognized? Are there any further announcements? Member from Brattleboro.
Madam Speaker, I would like to invite the body as well as the public to an event sponsored by myself and Representative Conlin to a panel of legal experts. You are welcome to call it a debate if that makes it sound even more fun and exciting to you, about the landmark Vermont Supreme Court decision in Brigham versus State. Perhaps you've heard of the Brigham decision. I think it might impact a lot of our work this year. And so we wanted to give the body and the public an opportunity to really center ourselves in what that decision is about and isn't about. We are going to hear from 3 legal experts, some of whom have constitutional experience, some of whom have trial experience related to this decision. And that will be this Thursday in the House chamber from 5 to 7 p.m. with time for questions from the audience. We really hope you can join us. Thank you.
Member from Dover.
Madam Speaker, tomorrow is Wednesday, and that is Rural Caucus Day. We will be meeting at 8 a.m. in the Pavilion, room 270.
Are there any further announcements? Member from Tunbridge. Member, your mic's not working. Do you mind borrowing the neighbors? We're trying again.
try again. I was saying coincidence is a funny thing. In fact, I think it would make a good subject for a devotional sometime. But here's a coincidence that I thought worth mentioning. So when we do a roll call and our House clerk with great efficiency and rapidity gets to the letter O, the first member in O begins with the letters OB. The next member begins with the letters OD. And it happens that our birthdays follow exactly the same sequencing. My birthday was yesterday, 1/27. This member's is today, 1/28. So please join me in wishing the Aquarian from Chittenden 18 a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, members. Are there any further announcements? Seeing none, orders of the day. We have one bill on our action calendar today. House Bill 78 is an act relating to the use of the Australian ballot system in local elections. The bill was introduced by the Committee on Government Operations and Military Affairs. The member from Virgin, Representative Byrong, will speak for the committee. Please listen to the second reading of the bill.
H78, an act relating to the use of the Australian ballot system in local elections.
Member from Virgin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, members. First, I'd like to say that as is a House Government Operations and Military Affairs tradition to report the first bill of a session, I am happy to carry that torch into a new biennium. And with that, I will proceed to the report on H78, an act relating to Australian ballot systems in local elections. Now, for background, 17 VSA 2680 establishes the Australian ballot system for use in local elections. Under current law, a municipality may vote to elect its officers by Australian ballot. If a municipality has not adopted the Australian ballot system, officers are elected from the floor. Recently, some municipalities became aware that their practice of using a hybrid system for election of officers, where some, but not all of the officers are elected by Australian ballot, was not permitted under a strict analysis of 17 VSA 260B. Now, for section by section of the bill, section 1, this section amends 17 VSA 2680B to clarify that a municipality may vote to elect any or all officers by Australian ballot. This subsection is further amended to provide the express language that shall be used for future municipal votes to adopt the Australian ballot system for the election of any or all municipal officers. Section 2. This contains session law that approves the use of a hybrid system as previously approved by the voters of some municipalities. The session law provisions state that this act shall not invalidate the election of any municipal officer at a 2025 annual meeting. It will also state that the failure of a municipality to comply with the new provisions in this act shall not be the basis of a legal challenge to the election of an officer at a 2025 annual meeting. It also states that prior municipal votes to elect some, but not all, municipal officers by Australian ballot shall not be subject to a challenge for failure to comply with this act or prior provisions of 17 VSA 2680B. It also states that the election of an officer in a municipality that has previously approved the use of a hybrid system shall not be subject to challenge for failure to comply with this act or prior provisions of 17 VSA 2680B. Now, subsequently, similar session law was used when 17 VSA 2680 was amended by a 1981 Act number 239 and adjourned the session. Section 3, this sets the effective date on passage. The committee took testimony from Legislative Counsel, Town Clerk of Vernon, the Director of Intergovernmental Affairs, VLCT, Deputy Secretary of State, and the Municipal Policy and Advocacy Specialist, VLCT. Madam Speaker, your Committee on Government Operations and Military Affairs voted in favor of this on a vote of 10-0-1, and we ask for the body's support. Thank you.
The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and third reading is ordered. Members, that completes the orders of the day. Are there any announcements? Member from Essex Junction.
Madam Speaker, the Democratic Caucus will meet 15 minutes after the floor in room 263 in the pavilion.
Member from Poultney.
Madam Speaker, House Republicans will caucus 15 minutes following adjournment in the room by the big bell in the pavilion building. I don't know if it has a number or not.
And member from Burlington. Nope. Okay, are there any further announcements? Member from Burlington.
Thank you. I was a bit distracted. The House Progressive Caucus will be holding its caucus meeting at noon in room 44 here in the State House. The theme today will be the public housing emergency that we're experiencing right now, and our guests will be the Land Access and Opportunity Board, Housing and Homelessness Alliance of Vermont, and other providers, medical providers. Thanks so much.
The chair has one announcement, just a reminder that we will be hearing the governor's budget address this afternoon at 1 p.m. in the chamber. So please, please be in your seats about 10 minutes before so we can be ready to start on time. So with that, are there any further announcements? Seeing none, member from Poultney, can you please offer us a motion to adjourn until Wednesday, January 29th at 3 p.m.?
Madam Speaker, I make a motion this body stand in adjournment until Wednesday, January 29th, 2025 at 3 p.m.
You have heard the motion. Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and this body stands in adjournment until tomorrow at 3 p.m.